Hey guys, it's Ryan with Fluid Health and Fitness, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Science Powered Fitness, and we're talking about protein degradation and protein synthesis. So this is a hot topic. It's essentially part of our nutrition refeed planning. When we exercise, there's certain amounts of nutrients that our body needs in order to benefit from the type of work that we do. When you exercise, the intent is really to drive an adaptation from our body in some way. And when we use exercise, we're really using loading to break tissues down. It's called muscle protein degradation or degradation. And so you're literally breaking these filaments down, and the body needs to create muscle protein synthesis to heal the tissue and to restore it and to get it to be stronger. So the ratio of the degradation has to be met with the synthesis in order for there to be a net adaptation or change. And that's not just the muscle, that's the bone structures and the connective tissues. So there's a degradation that takes place across all the tissues of the body, and the greater the amount of load, the size of the individual, the amount and volume of the intensity, the amount of muscle groups being trained, all have an impact on the amount of protein need that there is. Now there are limits to the body's ability to ingest, break down the amino acids, get it through the blood barrier into the body, and then be used for protein synthesis. We also know that proteins can be used or hijacked for energy needs if there's not enough energy to promote protein synthesis. One of the big takeaways here is that there also needs to be insulin present in the body in order to stop the protein degradation, so that the body can actually flip over to protein synthesis. So it's not just about how much protein you consume, but also how much carbohydrate, and or sometimes again the protein actually can be converted to glucose, and it will create an insulin response, because of which that insulin within the bloodstream, again the hormone necessary for storing energy, that's also important to have higher levels of blood glucose and blood insulin levels to stop, again, the degradation side of that equation, so that the aminos can now be used. Some of you guys are using branched chain amino acids, but you have low glucose levels, or cellular energy level is low, so the leucine, isoleucines, these branched chains that you normally use to catalyze the protein synthesis through the mTOR pathway, they're not getting used the way that they should because you don't have the proper energy balance. Sometimes we're wasting money on certain things. So again, the idea here is that there's a ratio there, and we need to know proper balance. There's some numbers out there that are floating around for proper requirements for refueling the body based on different intensity factors, and those things are things that we should be looking towards incorporating as a proactive strategy for facilitating the right nutrition and refeeds for our activity factors. So if you have questions on that, make sure to reach out to us at fluidhealthandfitness.com. We'd love to answer your questions, or you can reach out at admin@fluidhealthandfitness.com. But once again, if you're doing all the work, if you're putting all the breakdown on the tissues, are you supplying the synthesis to see a net change? So if you're crushing it week over week and seeing very little return on investment in terms of performance, let's look at the limiting factors, and the synthesis side of the equation might be in the tank here. So we want to turn our attention to that as a possible opportunity for growth. Questions, once again, admin@fluidhealthandfitness.com. Remember, your body's designed to move. Stay in motion. We'll see you next time.